What's up, dudes, dudettes, everything in between? My name is Cours. I'm the frontman, lead guitarist, all that good stuff for Cours and Company. I also do the booking for my band, and that has to be, in my opinion, the biggest struggle when it comes to playing is trying to get booked at a show. Even sometimes with venues that know me and I've already played there, sometimes it's hard. But specifically today, I kind of want to talk about trying to get into that groove. And like if you're a beginner or a singer-songwriter, if you're a cover band or an original band kind of stuff. And so this is going to apply to all of that. So first thing is street cred. You need to have a certain level of street cred. Now your street cred's like good music, that you take care of the audience, and that you act professionally. If you can do those three things, then you're set. Like you'll develop your street cred pretty quickly. But if you don't have good music or a good product, we'll call it that. If you don't have a good product, then you can't sell it. So if you're struggling musically, then sometimes you need to just sit in the shed. And if you don't know what that means, it's a musician's term. It means practice. It means sit down, work on your intonation, work on your guitar playing, build up your chord vocabulary, develop your songwriting skills. Find something you're good at and exploit the hell out of that. If there's certain songs that you really like listening to, and so you try to cover those, for example, but it turns out your voice just isn't suited for it, or you're playing you just don't feel it when you're playing it, drop it. Find the stuff you're good at and exploit that as much as you can. I'm not saying when you're in the shed, don't learn those things, because those things can teach you valuable lessons, the things you're not good at. And developing those things will actually probably improve the things you are good at. But if there's a certain set of music or a certain style of music that you just happen to do pretty well, that's your niche. Stick with it. All right, taking care of the audience. Pay attention to the audience when you're up there. Don't slam them with a bunch of sad songs or even a bunch of happy songs in a row. You kind of want to, unless your set's really short. If your set's really short, you want to get them excited about it, or you want to make them cry. Like one or the other. You need to elicit some form of emotional reaction from them. But if you're playing a 3 to 4 hour set, then you need to take care of the audience. And you can't just keep them at one high or one low energy level. If you're going to keep them at one energy level, it's probably the moderate area, but then you're only going to be known as like a mediocre band. Like I said, you need to develop your material and kind of understand the audience, so that, anyways, I'll get into that stuff later. I'm not going to go too deep. Just take care of the audience. Remember, you're there for them. They're not there for you. That's the important part. You treat your audience that way, like you're there working for them. Nobody's there working for you. So keep that in mind. Last thing is be professional. Super simple. Show up with all of your gear. All of your gear. Yeah, all of your gear. Show up on time. Get your sound check in. Have a contingency plan in case things like extra strings, an extra microphone in case something goes missing, or in case something gets broken, some extra cables, guitar picks, all that stuff. Like be prepared for a little bit of weirdness whenever you're playing out, because sometimes bad things happen. Just be ready for it. All right, next thing. This is point number 2. And point number 2, we have contacts. Now, your contacts can be anybody. They can be a friend who's a musician. They could be the person who actually books a show. They could be that person's wife or husband. They could be the guy who picks up your trash, who knows a guy that books for a venue that's in the next town. Like it could really be anybody. So kind of keep your Keep your ear to the ground at all times. If you're doing booking, keep your ear to the ground at all times, because you have no idea like how you're gonna get that gig or a gig in a spot you didn't even, maybe it's a really good venue you didn't even think of, and it's just like a town or two over. So yeah, just keep your ear to the ground. Next thing when it comes to contacts I wanted to talk about is, just to clarify, the person who does the booking for a venue can literally be anybody. Anybody. It could be the owner, which is kind of normal. The next most normal thing is the manager. And then the next most, actually, those are like two likelihoods. Probably about 80% of them. But the other 20%, it could be anybody. It could be the bar back. It could be, ultimately it just comes down to this. Whoever cares the most about the music scene and has the most contacts, who works at that bar or is married to an owner or manager that works at that bar, or venue. I was gonna stop saying bar. Venue. Who works at that venue? That's the person who's gonna end up doing the booking. If they have contacts with the musical world, it just makes sense. So don't expect to send an email to the manager of the bar or to go walk into a bar and talk directly to the manager and get a gig, because they might not do the booking, and that's kind of an important thing to know. All right, last point. Point number 4. No, I jumped ahead. Point number 3 is social media. Social media and EPK. You need to have something to send to somebody, especially if you're reaching out to them online. You need to work on developing your social media account as well as your electronic press kit. An electronic press kit can be anything from a website to like a Sonic Bids account, or what is the other one? Reverb Nation, that's another one. For website, I prefer website because to me it just seems more professional. That's my dog, y'all. He wants to go outside, but I'm in the middle of filming a video. I like there's Wix, and then there's Bandzoogle. I like Bandzoogle. Super easy, has a real easy format to build the website. Usually just takes an afternoon. Upload your pictures, write your bio, do all that stuff. It's important to have an EPK and then to mimic that on whatever social media pages you can. For example, the bio in my EPK is the same as the bio in my Facebook page for my band account. So it's good to have those there, so that way when you do book a venue and they go to advertise you or go to create an event. Okay, so my camera just decided it didn't want to film anymore, which is alright because I kind of had to pee anyways. And it was out of beer. I was rewatching this before I got in, so I knew where I kind of left off. The beer is why I was burping a lot at the beginning of the video. God damn it, lights. Alright, so we were talking about EPKs. And making sure your social media account has all that stuff set up. And, excuse me, I'm struggling jumping right back into this. So that they can book you. They have a thing they can just copy and paste it off your stuff and put it right on theirs. Super easy, and it saves a lot of hassle. Now we're on point number 4, for reals this time. Knowing how to reach out. This one's important. When I started reaching out, I was super proud of what I was doing. I mean, I still am. I'm not proud of it. I was trying, like, I put my whole bio in there. Like, every email I'd send off to a venue, I'd put my bio in there. I'd put some pictures. Obviously, I'd link my EPK. Things I was missing was, like, available dates and stuff like that. So when it comes to knowing how to reach out, really all you need is, when you're reaching out to them, and this could be on Facebook, this could be through email. Honestly, this is your elevator pitch too. This could be in person as well. You just need to get across to them who you are, what it is exactly that you do, and when your available dates are, and where they can find you at if they want to look get more detail about you. And so, who you are, your name, if you're a singer-songwriter, your band name, if you got a band. You probably want to give them your name and your band name, just so they can put you in their contacts list. And it's kind of a polite thing to do, is to introduce yourself. Anyways, so who you are. Next was what you do specifically, right? So what you do specifically is like what genre of music you play. If you're a cover band, what kind of artists do you cover? If you're top 40, put that on there. If you are a singer-songwriter, what genre do you fit in there? If you think you don't fit into a genre, I promise you do. There's a genre out there, but you want to be as general as possible, so that way it's more digestible. You don't want to be listing your genre as some weird off-the-wall indie rock polka ska or something like that. Like, you need to just be punk, or tell them that, so that way they have a general idea of what you're doing. They don't have to go and research what it is, because your pitch is consuming their time, and there are more people like you than there are people like them. So if everybody who pitched themselves to a venue got into super specific details about themselves, it's going to take up a lot of time. They're not going to want to listen to you. They're not going to want to read your message or your email or listen to you on the phone. And they'll try to get you off as soon as they can. So, off the phone. Anyways, so that's how you reach out. And more specifically, I got a list over here, if y'all can't tell. That's why my eyes keep going. More specifically, if they have an open mic, go to their open mic. It's a little bit more time consuming on your part, but it gives you an opportunity to actually entertain the person that you're trying to book through. That being said, if you've got a musician friend who's playing at a venue you haven't played at, ask them if it's okay if you come play breaks. Don't be overbearing about that, but ask them if it's okay. And if they agree to it, then go play breaks. If not, maybe it's just like a venue thing. Maybe they know the musician knows that your material is just going to kind of clash with their set or something like that. Be easy about it. Go to an open mic. Go get in front of the people and play live music if you can. That is easily the best way to do it. I don't know, especially if you're starting out. If you're starting out, that's the best way to do it. And a lot of venues will have like an open jam night or something like that. So there's like a open blues jam or some kind of open jam night. And if your genre of music kind of meshes with it, like if it's a blues jam but you play like some country stuff, just find some bluesy country stuff and go get your bluesiest country stuff out there and go play that venue. Like, just make sure it's good stuff and it hits them right. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Well, that's all I've got for you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this video. I'm gonna get to editing and see how much of this baloney I can get out. All right. So if you liked my video, do the proper thing. Hit that subscribe button, and also that like button. If you don't like it, stop watching them. Please.